In this video, I'm going to show you guys everything you need to know about the neutral safety switch on the Nissan Sentra, preferably years 2013 to 2019. I'm going to show you how to remove it, how to install it, and how to perfectly align the gear selector to the neutral safety switch or range switch without the use of the special tool. However, I will not show the removal of the battery and battery tray to get to the neutral safety switch. I got an extremely detailed video on that, and I got an extremely detailed video on how to replace the CVT in this vehicle. But this is all about the neutral safety switch or range switch and everything you need to know to successfully replace it. All right, let's jump into the video. Here's a little bonus footage. In the event you need to remove the gear selector cable from the bracket itself, I'm just going to insert this small clip here so you guys can see how to do that. Look at this shaft. It's all the way over as far as it can go. Look at the position. Now look at this one. So we're going to take a crescent wrench or whatever you got to go flat here. Crescent wrench. That's it right there. All right, let's remove this now. You want to be careful here because you can crack that range switch. Be careful with this. Whenever you remove these range switches from the CVT or neutral safety switches, they recommend that you replace them, I guess, because it's a possibility you can damage the contacts when you remove it off that shaft inside of that range switch. So it's highly recommended that you replace them whenever you use them. And I'll show you guys that here now. There's a special tool that aligns this range switch or places it in the perfect position. I don't have the tool. However, I'm going to show you guys a method or a trick you can use to install it correctly, to align it perfectly to the shifter. And although I filmed it initially, when I went back to check the footage, over 13 hours of footage for this video, it wasn't there. So I redid it over for you guys, and I'll integrate it in the film when I install it. The first thing you want to do is make sure you're in park. Secure the vehicle with a chock or block behind the wheel and then apply the emergency brakes. Due to the length of this video, I've already removed the battery and all the other components so we can have a clear view of the range switch or the neutral safety switch. I've already showed in great detail how to remove these components and reinstall them. So let me just show you guys how to align this thing perfectly without the special tool, and I'll also show you the special tool. And if you want to purchase it, you can, but I'm going to show you guys a shortcut on how to align it. 14, already loosened up. It's a 14 millimeter nut there, 14 millimeter on the lever as well. But look at this, I got a straight shot. If we come here, go over right here, another direct shot for the lever. 14 millimeter magnetic bit, just gonna come right up. You gotta worry about it dropping down there anywhere. We don't need to remove the lever because we don't have the special tool. All we need to remove is the shifter cable, and I'll show you guys that. If you have the special tool, and I'll integrate that in here now, you will need to remove the lever to install the special tool to align the switch up perfectly. But we don't have it, and it's kind of expensive too. So let's get started. You see that hole there? That's the key to aligning this switch up perfectly. That shaft on the special tool seats inside that hole, and we don't have that tool, so I'm going to show you guys a trick or a method to align it with the shaft on the transmission so you can have the correct position for that range switch. Once you remove the shifter cable, slightly loosen the two bolts up that hold the range switch to the CVT. Just loosen them up a little bit to allow the range switch to move or swing in either direction with some restriction. And in my case, I don't have to loosen them because my range switch is already in perfect alignment. Next, manually move the lever in the neutral position. Remember, it's in park already, so drop down once, reverse, the next is neutral. Now, if you look at the top of that shaft, since we're in neutral, I'm going to zoom in. I marked it with a marker there at the very corner of the top of that rectangle. On that specific side, on the corner, you want that facing directly to the center of that hole. That's how you align it. So I used a marker and just some kind of straight edge. You can use a piece of paper or an envelope, something with a straight edge, which will align that corner of that shaft to the center of that hole, that pilot hole there. That's where you want to be at. If you can see how I got it marked off, it's a straight edge there. I used a piece of cardboard, and I'll show you guys right here what I used. Once you align the corner of that shaft where I got that mark at to the center of that hole, it has to be straight directly to the center of that hole, you're pretty much dialed in. As you can see, this range switch was already dialed in. That's why I didn't loosen those two bolts up that hold the switch to the transmission. So if your range switch wasn't aligned correctly, that's why loosening those two bolts is important, because it allows you to swing that range switch to align the corner of that shaft to the center of that hole. And that's what the tool does. It aligns both that shaft in an angle towards that hole for it to be center of that hole, and perfectly align it with the gear selector. Once you have it perfectly aligned, tighten both bolts back down, shift the linkage back in park, attach the shifter cable, and you're done.